For many couples, the wedding night is portrayed as this perfect, magical moment, a culmination of love, passion, and lifelong commitment. But what we don't talk about enough is the anxiety, pressure, and emotional tension that so many people quietly carry into that night. And when no one speaks about it, those feelings turn into shame, fear, or self-doubt. The truth is, it's not uncommon to feel nervous, uncertain, or even disconnected on the first night of marriage. And that doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you're human. The pressure to perform, to meet expectations, to create some idealized romantic memory can be overwhelming, especially in cultures or communities where premarital intimacy is discouraged or strictly avoided. The wedding night becomes not just a personal experience but a test. A moment that's supposed to prove compatibility, love, or success. But intimacy doesn't work on demand. You can't just flip a switch and feel completely safe, relaxed, and emotionally ready. Intimacy is not just physical. It's emotional safety, trust, and the freedom to be vulnerable. What many couples experience on their wedding night is a collision of emotions. Joy, exhaustion, anticipation, confusion, and sometimes even fear. It might be the first time they're alone in a private space, expected to connect deeply, when in reality, they might still be strangers in some ways. Add in the fatigue from the wedding day, the family expectations, and the weight of tradition, and you have the perfect environment for anxiety to grow silently. And because no one talks about this openly, most couples blame themselves. The key is understanding that intimacy grows over time. It's not supposed to be perfect on night one. What matters more than anything is open communication. Being able to say, "I'm feeling a little nervous," or "Can we take this slow?" creates a foundation of emotional honesty that strengthens the relationship more than any physical experience could. When both partners are willing to be gentle with each other, to check in emotionally, and to prioritize comfort over pressure, the entire experience transforms. There is no shame in needing time. There is no failure in feeling anxious. What's important is creating space to explore intimacy together, without performance, without expectation, just curiosity and connection. The real beauty of a wedding night isn't in perfection. It's in presence. And when couples start their journey with empathy and truth, they build a bond that lasts far beyond a single night. It's incredibly common for couples to enter their wedding night with high expectations and hidden anxiety. Despite the romanticized images often shown in movies and cultural stories, the reality is much more complex. Many individuals, especially those from conservative or traditional backgrounds, have never had open conversations about sex or physical intimacy. As a result, the first night can become emotionally overwhelming. There's a mixture of excitement and fear, joy and uncertainty, all unfolding in a single private moment. And when anxiety enters that space, it can quickly be misunderstood as failure, rejection, or incompatibility. But none of that is true. The truth is, wedding night anxiety is normal. It happens far more often than people admit, simply because no one talks about it. For those who have waited until marriage, this might be the first intimate experience of their life. That alone brings a flood of emotions. Fear of the unknown, worry about whether they'll do it right, or insecurity about their own body. Even for those who may have had previous experiences, the emotional weight of the wedding night can still be heavy. It's not just a physical moment. It's a symbolic one, filled with meaning, pressure, and expectations from both the couple and the community around them. And because this moment is supposed to feel special, any sign of nervousness or hesitation can lead to shame or silence. Anxiety in this context can show up in different ways. One partner may feel physical tension or emotional withdrawal. The other might misinterpret that as disinterest or discomfort with the relationship. The lack of open communication around this subject creates more misunderstanding, which further increases the pressure. But at its core, what most people are experiencing is a natural human response to a major emotional and physical transition. It's important to normalize these feelings and remove the shame. Feeling nervous on your wedding night doesn't mean you're not ready. It means you're stepping into a deeply intimate experience, one that deserves care, patience, and emotional safety. Couples who accept and validate each other's nervousness are laying the groundwork for real trust. They're saying, "It's okay to feel this way, and we'll go through it together." That mindset can transform what might feel awkward into something genuinely bonding. The first night doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be honest, kind, and shared with mutual respect. The pressure to create the perfect wedding night experience is deeply rooted in social narratives and cultural expectations. For many, this night is imagined as a grand, flawless moment filled with passion, ease, and emotional harmony. But this idealized version can be damaging when it becomes the standard by which couples judge themselves. From childhood through adulthood, people are exposed to filtered versions of intimacy through films, social media, or even whispered family myths. These stories often leave out the reality that true intimacy takes time, communication, and comfort, not instant chemistry or performance. In some cultures, the first night of marriage carries additional symbolic weight. It's seen as proof of love, masculinity, or even moral purity. These unspoken rules put couples under silent but immense emotional strain. A man may feel the need to be dominant and experienced, while a woman may feel pressure to appear both innocent and somehow prepared. Neither role reflects the truth about how human intimacy unfolds. These roles are performances, not reflections of genuine connection, and when people fail to meet these unrealistic expectations, they don't talk about it. Instead, they internalize shame, guilt, or fear that something is wrong with them or their partner. The result is that couples often misunderstand each other. When one partner freezes or hesitates, the other might assume rejection or lack of interest. But in reality, both may be feeling overwhelmed by the pressure to perform a script that was never meant to serve real people. That disconnect isn't a sign of incompatibility. It's a symptom of how distorted our social expectations have become. And yet, so many couples carry the weight of that one night as if it defines their whole marriage. Breaking this cycle begins with honest expectations. It's okay if your wedding night isn't what the movies promised. It's okay if it feels awkward, uncertain, or even emotional. Those experiences are normal, not failures. The most intimate thing you can do isn't physical. It's admitting how you feel. If couples understand that emotional safety matters more than any scripted moment, they free themselves from the burden of performance. They start building a real connection, rooted in compassion, rather than a fantasy. When we let go of the myth, we give love and intimacy the room to breathe and grow naturally, without pressure or pretense. When couples enter their first night of marriage, there's often an unspoken focus on physical intimacy as the main milestone. But what's far more vital, yet often overlooked, is the need for emotional safety. Emotional safety is the invisible foundation that allows physical connection to thrive in a meaningful and secure way. Without it, even the most physically intimate moments can feel hollow or confusing. With it, even the smallest gestures of closeness become powerful and bonding. Emotional safety isn't about avoiding fear or discomfort altogether. It's about knowing that your partner sees you, hears you, and accepts your vulnerability without judgment or pressure. In the context of wedding night anxiety, emotional safety can turn a potentially awkward or stressful situation into a moment of genuine connection. When a partner says, "I'm nervous too," or "we can take this at our own pace," it opens up space for honesty and closeness. Suddenly, the goal shifts from performance to presence. Couples are no longer trying to live up to an imaginary standard. They're simply showing up for each other, with real emotions and human imperfections. That shift changes everything. It allows one person to cry without shame, or another to express hesitation without fear of being misunderstood. It replaces tension with trust. There's a deeper kind of intimacy that arises when two people feel safe enough to be unsure. When emotional safety is present, the focus moves from doing it right to being with you. This kind of emotional environment creates room for exploration, patience, and mutual discovery, things that lead to a much richer connection than just checking off a first night box. It says, "Oh, you matter more than this moment." That mindset nurtures long-term intimacy, not just one-time chemistry. What's powerful is that emotional safety is built in small, intentional ways. Through tone of voice, eye contact, allowing silence, giving permission to pause or say no, and showing up with gentle curiosity rather than expectation. These are the behaviors that communicate, "You are safe with me." And when someone feels safe, they're more likely to open up emotionally, which can make physical intimacy a natural and shared experience rather than a pressured performance. When both people feel held emotionally, their bodies respond with more trust, more softness, and more joy. And that is the true essence of intimacy. Not what you do, but how you feel while doing it and how seen and accepted you are throughout. Cultural silence around wedding night anxiety has left generations of couples feeling isolated and ashamed about something that is actually very normal. In many communities, especially where sex is considered a taboo subject, there's almost no room to openly discuss fears, questions, or emotional concerns around intimacy. This silence creates a cycle of confusion, where couples enter the most intimate chapter of their relationship with little to no guidance. Without clear, honest conversations from family educators or mentors, they're left to figure things out alone, often guided by myths, unrealistic portrayals in media, or misinformation passed down through whispers and warnings. The absence of open dialogue doesn't just leave people unprepared. It creates a sense of secrecy and shame. When you're told that something as natural as sex should never be spoken about, you begin to believe that your curiosity, your anxiety, or even your lack of knowledge is a personal failure. That internalized shame often shows up on the wedding night. One or both partners may feel frozen, uncertain, or afraid to express what they truly feel. Instead of asking questions or seeking comfort, they try to pretend they're confident and ready. This performance mindset only deepens the disconnection. Breaking this silence doesn't require a public declaration. It starts within the relationship. It begins when one partner says, "I don't know what to expect," or "I feel nervous. Can we go slow?" It begins when couples create a safe space for each other where vulnerability is respected, not ridiculed. Over time, that kind of communication can become the norm in the relationship, leading to a healthier and more connected sexual life. It also sends a powerful messaging that fear and uncertainty are not signs of weakness. They're signs of humanity. Cultural change often starts with private courage. The more couples who are willing to talk about their real experiences, the more we shift the narrative from silence to support. Imagine a world where newlyweds could admit they're nervous and be met with understanding instead of judgment. Imagine if families, faith leaders, and health educators provided practical, compassionate conversations instead of avoidance. We would see a generation of couples entering marriage with more knowledge, more connection, and more confidence. And that shift would break the taboo, replacing fear with empathy, and turning the wedding night from a silent pressure point into an open, shared experience of emotional and physical trust. The wedding night doesn't need to be a test, a performance, or a moment of silent pressure. It can be a beginning, one rooted in emotional safety, honest communication, and mutual respect. When couples release the unrealistic expectations shaped by culture, media, and silence, they create space for a more authentic and loving experience. Addressing anxiety, embracing vulnerability, and breaking the taboo together allows intimacy to unfold naturally, at a pace that honors both partners. By choosing connection over performance and truth over tradition, couples build the kind of foundation that lasts far beyond one night.